Hey there, love lights. This is Sandra Bear Davis, the Appalachian Medicine Woman. I'm in Cashiers, North Carolina, and at a wetlands area. Say hi. Hello. You don't want to see my ugly mug today. Definitely not cleaned up for company. All right, so let me turn this around. I was gonna just take a walk today. My husband is interviewing with a local builder developer who needs a project manager. So, how about we wish him good luck? And I'm just visualizing him having this wonderful new position. I wanted to talk with you guys today about Appalachian folk medicine, its origins, um, how it how it originated. Isn't that what origins means? Look at this. You come into a little town like Cashiers, and these highlands towns, and there's just so many resources, financial resources to the towns, that you have just beautiful areas that you can just get out and walk. I can imagine in the when things are like blooming out more, that this is really, really an incredible place just to come and connect to nature. And it's just right beside the post office in a little area called the Commons. So you have an area where they have concerts and things like that. So I'm just going to sit here for a little while. I'm going to find myself a good little spot. So we have some nice benches here, and you got the creek there. I'm going to sit here and talk with you a while about Appalachian folk medicine. Actually, I may walk because it's just too pretty of a day to sit here. I love creeks like this. This is a pretty swift running little creek, and it was saying, there was a sign saying high water, so I imagine with all the rains we've had of late, they've had some issues with flooding down here. It's awesome up here. Appalachian folk medicine, particularly in the southern Appalachians. And I can't speak to all folk medicine, because folk medicine is an oral tradition that is passed down in families from generation to generation. If you in your family are seen to be someone who has some gifts, you'll be trained up. If not, well, you'll pick up tips, right, from your family, the way they do doctoring and healing. You had families in the southern Appalachian go back several hundred years ago when this was Cherokee Nation. This was Cherokee area. The Cherokee Nation was huge, spread out over many, many states. A powerful nation. And they were not migratory, but they actually had villages, and they lived in permanent structures. And so there in the Cherokee Nation was a clan called the Bear Clan. The Bear Clan were your traditional healer clan. And so they kept a lot of the traditional indigenous healing knowledge. That is an incredible, really cool stump. I don't know if you can see that. It's really cool. But that's where my family came from. We're descendants of Bear Clan. Now, imagine the European settlers coming into the area. We won't call them invaders. We could, but we won't. But the European settlers came into the area. And to begin with, the Cherokee were very open to sharing knowledge. They had a huge tradition of, hospitality and, warmly embracing people, bringing them in. And so they did this, and they married in with these European settlers quite a lot. And so what happened in my family was an Irish gentleman moved to America with his mother and sister and ended up marrying a Cherokee woman of the Bear Clan. Well, the Irish practitioners, the Irish family, they came from a long, long, long line of healers themselves. which would have, in the old days, been Druids, but through the years, there had become a veneer of Christianity over that. And so the practitioners that were from Ireland, they passed down oral tradition as well to ones who had gifts. They worked with fairies and angels and saints, the mother, father, Son, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. But the Holy Spirit has always been understood in my family to be the Divine Mother. You know, that part of the Christian mystic side was never lost, because you can see people that descended from practitioners of Donna, the Celtic Mother Earth Goddess. They simply embraced the Madonna as the Divine Mother. Yeah, so in their mind, it worked fine. Still does. I see all these higher dimensional beings as being family, not in any kind of war against each other. Isis and Mother Mary, Kuan Yin, Aphrodite, all these different ones are sisters, not in any kind of competition with each other. There's no hate and animosity in the higher dimensions. It's absolutely all love. The doves, the dove goddesses work with, they are Holy Spirit. They are the Divine Mother. And every society has its representation of the Divine Mother. So these Celtic folks, and my family was Irish, you're going to have other practitioners up in the mountains that's primarily their relatives were Scottish. But my family was Irish. And they had been forever practitioners of Donna. So they came to America, married in with a Cherokee, and over the generations, this has amalgamated into Appalachian Folk Medicine as a very, very powerful healing modality, and as a mystical tradition that's very powerful as well. It's very inclusive. It's all about love. It's all about working with the light. You also accept the side of yourself that is your shadow side and work with that. If you work with your shadow side, you don't have issues and problems with your shadow side. We all have a side of us that is a little bit darker energy. I have a side of me that would be like a vampire's dominatrix if I let her go. Yeah, hog wild, to be honest. So you work with that, and then you learn to love that part of yourself so that that part of yourself does not begin to dominate who you are, and you're able to live in light and in love and in acceptance. And so Appalachian folk medicine, coming from those practitioners in this oral tradition, what it involves working with is you work in sacred space. Sacred space is where you call in the energies of the sacred directions and the sacred elements. East, south, west, north, but also we work with the below world, the above world, and the middle world. And in those directions we work with the elements of air, fire, water, and earth. And we work with the archangels in these directions. In the east, you have Raphael. In the south, you have Michael. In the west, you have Gabriel. In the north, you have Uriel. I work with, in the below world, Metatron. He walked the earth as Enoch, and so he knows what it is to walk in human form. The above world, I work with the Archangel Sandalphon. And in the middle world, the here and the now, I work with the Archangel Zadkiel. We also work with the Archangel Chemuel in our work here. We also work with the fairy kingdom. Now, the Cherokee word for the nature spirits is Nunehi. And my homestead is called the New Nahi Homestead. I am someone who can communicate and speak with the spirits of nature and also the archangels. That's part of how I do my work, is in a communication with them. I can communicate with the animals, with trees, and with the water. The birds respond really well to me. And I do healing on not only people, but I do healing on animals as well as equestrian. I do equestrian Reiki specifically. I use that work. I am a Reiki practitioner, master teacher, Yusui and Seikin. But really, that's just a word. I would work with them in my communication as a medicine woman and the healing that I know how to do. People have come to know Reiki, and so equestrian Reiki is the label I will put on what I do, but it's more animal communication as a medicine woman. It's more mystical, but it works. It really works. I've been privileged, and I want you to know that although I am quite aware that I'm good at what I do, I'm not false. There's no false humility here. I know I'm good at what I do. I know that at my hands miracles have happened many, many times, but the credit for that goes to the Creator. If it's a God-given gift, that God is the one that gets the glory here. I'm just happy to be able to do it. I love my work. I love being able to help people. I love working with people. I'm also kind of a loner, too. People like me, we're almost monastic in the way we live. Um, Most of our time is spent in quiet contemplation, working in the garden, writing, meditating, uh, drumming, singing, and praying. But then when we come out and we do our healing work or come out and do a folk medicine circle, it's because I have spent the time building up my own energy centers, building up my own connection to the divine mind, that I'm then able to translate that over to healing for others. And so I'm going to be having a number of Appalachian Folk Medicine circles I'm getting ready to do in this upcoming season. I'm Bear Clan, very much a bear. So I'll be working all the way, really hard, all the way up until right after Christmas. And then what you'll find is that I'll disappear into my bear den because I need to paint and I need to write and I need to just have my quiet time through the winter. I do hibernate like a bear in the winter. But right now, spring is here. I'm coming out and doing healing circles. Primarily, I do these in the eastern United States, eastern and the southeast. I've got one upcoming in Pennsylvania in May. I've got one upcoming in Franklin, North Carolina in June. And then I'll have several during the month of May in the D.C. area, as well as likely, I'm filling up my schedule right now, so probably the next few months I'll be having a good dozen that I do this season that are at other people's places, not from my homestead, not working from my home healing space, but out there with groups at usually Unitarian or spiritualist churches is where I do the group things. But sometimes I do them at fairly well-to-do people's houses. If they can fit at least 30 people, we can do it. I'm going to end this video now because you should keep them down to about 15 minutes for them to upload correctly on YouTube, and then I'll keep going with some more speaking about Appalachian folk medicine, specifically what we do in the folk medicine healing circles. I want people to be familiar and feel comfortable when they come out, okay? So thank you for taking this little walk with me up in Cashiers, North Carolina, and I'll be doing part 2 next.